Wait for a few more people. Assalamualaikum.
Adeela, can you turn off the sound from your, I think I got it here.
Okay, how's that? No, we want one of them unmuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them's unmuted.
Okay, I want to mute this one. Which one? Turn that one on. Okay, how's that, Shadia? Feedback. Okay, switch it back. Okay, all right. Do you want to start or do you want to wait a little bit?
No, we can get started.
Okay. All right, assalamualaikum everyone. I hope that you're doing okay. We are today going to make 2 prayer beads. Now, these are sometimes called tasbih. Sometimes they're called misbaha. So the official name is misbaha because tasbih is the verb of what you do with them. But a lot of times people just call these tasbih, and that's fine too. So we're going to make 1 large one and 1 with smaller beads. Now, traditionally, we use these after prayer. And so you say 3 phrases 11 times each. So Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, and Allahu Akbar, 11 times each. So there's 2 ways that we can make them. We can do with 10 beads, and this is number 11. 10 beads, this is number 11, and then 10 beads where this is number 11. But each of your bags will have enough that you can actually do 11 and then a big bead, 11 and a big bead, and 11 and a big bead. So that is up to you. We're going to start with the first bag. Now, this is the one that probably has the Muslim Space sticker on it, and it has a piece of leather, it's a thicker string. Everybody have that? If you have questions, just raise your hand or unmute yourself, and then we'll be able to answer your questions. In addition, if you don't have one and you're able to grab one, you can either use the bag, which is perfectly fine, or if you want to grab a bowl, you can use that as well. I found it easier to dump them all into a bowl. So before you start, you can go ahead and count them. They should be enough that you can do 33 small beads, but it's fine if you want to count them. Again, you're going to do, you need 33 or 30 of the smaller beads, and 2 of the large round beads, and 1 of this oddly shaped or very nicely shaped, very fun to hold large bead. Okay, is everybody ready to go? Okay, so some of the supplies that you were supposed to have on hand were just some tape and some scissors. It's pretty better if they're like really pointy at the end, but it doesn't have to be. I also grabbed, in case your parents want to help you with this, just a sewing needle. Sometimes the beads are a little bit hard to stick the rope into, and so I found this useful to do for that. Okay, so start by taking one end of your leather strap and take a small piece of tape. Small piece of tape. Here's your small piece of tape. Okay. Put the tape right towards the end of your string. So the reason that we're doing this is it'll make it easier to push it into the beads. And then just wrap it around. You know how like a shoelace has that plastic end, and that makes it easy to stick through the holes? That's basically the exact same thing that we're doing right now. So just go around once or twice. You don't have to use the whole piece of tape. I'm actually not going to use all this tape. Just wrap it around. And you can even like kind of twist it up just to make it really nice and tight. In the end, we'll probably have to do this on both ends, but for now, just one end is fine. So everybody got theirs taped up? Here's mine all taped up. So it looks basically just like a shoelace where there's a plastic piece at the end, except instead of plastic, we're using tape. Okay. So I'm gonna do 11 and then a big bead 11 and a big bead 11. So we'll start by just taking one of the little beads that you have and just literally string it on here. Just push it right in. If you find that it's hard to get that in, that's where you're either the end of your scissors, if they're really sharp, get that piece of tape off there. If the end of your scissors is really sharp, you can sometimes do this, like trying to clean out some of that stuff. The hole is there, it just sometimes needs to be cleaned out. Or the needle also works for that reason. But start by stringing. Go ahead and string, I'll guide my kids through it too. Go ahead and string 10 or 11. It's totally up to you what you want to do. Bead of the small beads onto here. Do you need help?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like you made your tape a little bit too thick. So this isn't going to work. Let me redo it.
The big bead.
Not the big bead. We'll start with the small beads. It's okay. I have extra. We'll find your bead later. That's why I told you to put them in the bowl. Okay, so yeah, let's put that tape on nice and tight. My son did not, and it made it a little bit harder for him to get the bead in there. Are yours going okay? Okay, here you go, Adam. Start stringing. Obviously, make sure it doesn't fall off the other end. So we're just going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start just putting these on. I'm going to put 11 of the small beads. Now, see, like sometimes it's a little hard to get it in. You can play with it a little bit. If it's really not working, just running those scissors or a needle on either side will take care of that.
Just look for some scissors. There's either going to be some over here.
You see what I mean with so these are really sharp scissors. So let me show you. You had problems with one of them. So then just take the scissors and kind of just clean up that. You'll see a little bit of like dusty stuff coming out, that sawdust, because there's a little bit stuck in the hole.
Just
and
look
then once you clean that out, then it should easily go in.
Well, look over here. Just look around, Riri. Look around. I know there's some scissors. You don't see any other ones anywhere else?
Okay, so I have 11 of the small beads on mine to start.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And you know, you kind of play with them, make sure they move around easily. Again, don't let them fall off the other end.
2 more to make 11.
Okay, you're almost there? And how are you doing? What's wrong?
This one won't come out.
Okay, so then again, what I told you is
I already did.
Bring it up a little bit more. Try it again.
Maybe is this gonna be like tasbih? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, good. You are at 11. Who has their first 11?
11.
Yes, I know you do.
I don't know. Might be tasbih.
Okay, if you're joining us late, then take the first bag that has the leather strip in it. Take a small piece of tape and tightly put it around the end like that, so it looks sort of like a shoelace end. And you'll need this to put it through the bag.
Look in there. Look in there.
There's see the little end.
Ah.
And then do once you have that done, then put 11 of the small 10 or 11 of the small beads on there. And if you're having trouble, the best way is a sharp pair of scissors and just kind of run it around the bead, and that'll make the hole a little tiny bit bigger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first bar? I don't know.
How's he done before you?
9.
I don't know. Yeah? Yeah? But there's 12. Wow, listening long.
The string is long, but it's not going to be long for very long. Because see, this is the end result, so you're going to need a lot of string.
Well, it might be a tasbih. Is it a tasbih?
Yeah,
Yes, it is a tasbih, also known as a misbaha. And tasbih being the verb of what you do with this. Yes, thank you for showing me. This is the first one that we're making. So this will be the one with the fatter beads, and then we'll make one that's smaller. Thanks, you're a good helper. With the smaller beads. Okay, so if are we ready to move on? No, it looks like we're still working on the first 11. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, you got 11? Did you count them?
These are 11.
Okay. Count them and double check.
1, 2, 3, 6, 6,
Yeah, you have 11.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Good job.
6.
How can you make the holes bigger?
So if you have a sharp scissors, hold the bead and kind of run it around the inside. So you're basically, the hole is there. It's just sometimes it's like the ends aren't very clean. Do that on both sides. I also found that a sewing needle does the same thing, kind of clean out the inside a little bit. And then it should go in a little bit easier. The leather is just small enough that they should fit into this hole.
Maybe because it's squeezed.
Yeah, maybe you could squeeze it too. That's another option, is squeeze the end. With the other, one of them I did find that if I like really squeezed and twisted the end, where it's like they said the shoelace looking end, that also worked well. You can't see it if you're not back. Like we put it all the way up here. See, right in front of the camera. There you go. It's okay if it's coming off. We're not going to need that at the end.
The one shoelace thingy.
Yeah, but hold it. Make sure it doesn't fall off the other end.
Like it won't.
It could if you're like not careful. Then you'll have to go running around the floor looking for them.
We're ready.
Okay, so when you're ready, then we're going to go ahead and put one of the large. You'll see they have a large round one. Put one of those on. That one should be a lot easier to string. And then do another 11 or 10, again, whichever one you're doing, on the same string.
I'm doing it on this side.
So when you're done, you should have 10 or 11, 1, and then another 10 or 11. Go ahead and put 11 more on, sweetie, after you put the big one. Okay, make sure you're not mixing up the bags, love. Here. There you go. Put 11, if you put the big one, then put 11 more on that side.
I'm gonna put 6. Now I'm basically going to go on this side.
This one's still a little bit tight.
So I have to put another piece on this side.
We will if we need to. If you decide to start on the other end, you can put a piece of tape over there too. It won't, there's no problem with doing so. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Do you need me to tape that one?
Getting it through.
Okay, so let me just tape it for you. I'll just make it easier.
Tape it and squeeze.
Tape and squeeze?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Look, it's on already.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Oh, you're here. Okay, count to 11.
3.
6, 9, 10, 11.
The third one's coming. Here comes the third.
Here's where I am right now. So I have 11 and one big one and 11. And my kids aren't caught up. So I'm giving you, we're not ready to move on yet.
One.
Well, that's a good technique. So my daughter's tried this where she actually puts them on here and then kind of twists as you're going. Twist it like you're twisting the bead onto the thing, and that seems to work well too. How many do you have, hon? You're at 5?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
5. 6.
Now, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, you got
I
11
need
and
3
11
more. I
and
need
1.
5. I need 6 more to make 11.
Okay.
6 and 6 makes 11.
6 and 6 makes
11.
12.
Mom, they don't move that way.
Okay, well, you can kind of move them
So
around a little
6 and
bit.
5 makes 11.
These are a little bit smaller than mine.
6 and 5
They're
makes
like the
11.
big shiny ones.
6 and 5 makes 11.
But that's okay. Those will be fine. You're not going to move them a lot. So
6 and 5.
when you're done, you're not going to be moving them a lot. So you just basically, if they can move about an inch, that should be fine.
1, 2, 3.
Did anybody join later that needs to be caught up?
6,
If you did, unmute and we can go back over.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 more. Which I've got 3 more.
Good job, Nora. Looking good. Who else has got their 22 plus 1, 23? So we have 11 and 1 and 11 on this side.
We're going to make one more row.
Yeah, we're going to do one more set of that. If you want, you can go ahead and do that. Put another large bead, another large round, and then another set of whatever you're doing, 10 or 11.
1, 2, 3.
I have a problem. Some of my beads are kind of blocked up, and we don't have a sewing needle or any scissors that will fit inside.
I have this, sweetie. I have this.
Oh.
Sweetie. I've got a whole bag of these.
Now 11 more.
Yeah, now go ahead and do, when you're ready, you can go ahead and do the big bead and another 11. So at the end of it, you should have 33 small beads and 2 large beads, or you could have done 30 small beads and 2 large beads. It's fine either way. It's not a big deal. Like this one isn't working, so I will clean this one up.
So basically all the rest of my beads are going on now.
Yep, that's the way it works.
I'm just never going to stop. I'm not going to stop until I get all my beads on there.
No, you're going to wait and just count 11. What if you have too many?
I've only got 3. Only got 3.
8.
Maybe it's because I
1, 2,
squeezed
3,
it.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I ended up using all my small beads, but it's okay if you have extra. That's no big deal. 4, 5, 6,
1, 2, 3, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 1, 2, 8, 8, 9, 10.
and you have an extra right here.
I have 1 extra.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8. So you need 3 more.
The extra ones.
That's okay. No big deal.
They give me extra.
That's cool. Maybe you can put it at the end and it'll be a decoration. So when you have all 33 and the 2 big ones, it should look something like this. Or again, you could do 30 of the small ones and 2 of the big ones. Also perfectly fine.
Okay. And now for these.
Not yet.
What's this plastic?
Well, I was going to show you when we're done. It was on top of here, right? It was to protect that you don't need the plastic there.
Oh, okay. I thought we needed it.
Sophia, be careful. Don't hurt your hands. She was like stabbing it. I was getting nervous.
Stabbing what?
She was stabbing the bead. I didn't want her to get hurt with a pen.
She has a pen, not a needle or
That's correct.
scissors.
That's correct.
Why?
That's what she has. So I don't know
The pen
if
also.
leather.
Okay. Now I'm gonna.
Let me see how long this is.
Now I'm gonna put this on right here.
That's okay.
I'm gonna put this on right here.
That's not how you do it, dear. Can you just wait a minute? Yeah,
What do we
everybody
do?
can it together.
Put this on here. Oh, we put it on. Take off the tape.
No. Don't take off the tape yet. You still need it.
Do we do this?
And the kitty's making a mess. Yeah, you're gonna put it on both. Okay, who wants to move on to the next step? Okay, so we got a few people that are ready. So the next step is probably what is the hardest. And you take this funny looking bead, which is also a very pretty little bead, and you're gonna get it through both sides. So there's 2 ways to do this. You can either wrap the other end in plastic as well, or in tape, not in plastic, and see if that helps squish it through. We'll try that first.
Maybe we could tape these together.
Maybe, but that might not work. So just try to stick them through. Okay, so I went ahead and did the other end of my leather strip with the same piece of tape. And then I'm gonna try putting these 2 together and pushing them through this hole. It's a little bit challenging. Kind of have to work a little bit. Oh, this one wasn't too bad.
We can make this hole bigger.
Yeah, and then another way to do this is you put 1 through and then, so this one went on pretty easily, but another way to do it, let's try Adam's. Okay. So another way to do it is you put 1 through, then hold it down, like pull it real nice and tight till the hole is as big as it can get. See how I'm holding both sides of it, pulling it down, and then try to squish the other one into there. It's a little bit hard to do. I'll be honest. You kind of just push, push, push. Little bit at a time.
It's going through.
Is it going?
Yep.
Sometimes once you get it halfway, then you can kind of use that one that's already in there and pull it through. Sometimes that works.
Wow.
Oh, see, look, now this is where the needle can be handy. So I got most of it through. You can see there's just a tiny bit that's sticking out, and then I can grab it with the needle and pull the rest of it out. But if you don't have one, that's okay. You can use the end of a knife to grab it, or you can try to stick them both in at the same time like I did on mine. Okay, I'll help you just a second. Now we're going to kind of even it up a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at yours. Okay, this is the third one we're trying, so let's see. Your tape is very small, love. That might be one of the problems. So this one I'm going to try to squish together and put them through. Oh, this one's went through just fine, Lisa.
What's this thing for then?
Okay, you'll see. We're going to do the next thing that we're going to do is the tassel. Adam is asking many times, so in case you guys are wondering, we're going to do the tassel next.
Like that?
So now, anybody know what night of Ramadan it is tonight?
What?
What's the number?
Today's the 25th night.
Okay. Oh, Adam, you're gonna run and check. Okay. Okay. Okay, so to be right, today is the 24th day, which means tonight is the 25th night. Now, that means it's one of the special nights, the odd nights of the last 10 days, where it is possible that tonight might be one of the blessed night.
Night of power.
Yes, exactly, the night of power. And so maybe tonight might be a good time for you to use your new tasbih or misbaha. Maybe do a few tasbihs before you go to bed, where you will say Subhanallah 11 times, Alhamdulillah 11 times, and Allahu Akbar 11 times. So when I say use it, meaning you'd say Subhanallah, which means what? Anybody know? Nobody? Glory be to Allah. Glory be to Allah. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So the reason that we have these beads is to help us keep track. Because you want to at least do it 11 times and then say Alhamdulillah, or thanks to Allah, praise be to Allah, 11 times. And then say Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, 11 times. So you can do this up to 99 times. That's pretty common. And then you would do the same thing 3 times. So you would do one round, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, then do it again, and then do it a 3rd time. And that way you would get to 99, which is also the number of names of Allah. So if you happen to know, if you haven't written it down, all the 99 names of Allah, you can say each of Allah's names as you move one bead, and then do it the 2nd time with the second 33, and the 3rd time with the 3rd 33. So is that everybody going to take that project on tonight? You do your tasbih at least once tonight? Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar.
How do you do the last one again?
Okay, so that's the trickiest one. Did you hear me, son? Okay, so you actually want both of these strings to go through that. So
Same
one
way?
way to do it, huh?
The same way? Like same direction?
Yeah, the same direction. So the point is that once you do that, it actually keeps your tasbih together. See how it's like, that's the closing one. So if you can try putting the tape on there on both sides, and then just squeeze them together and try to stick them through the hole.
So put tape on the other side also.
Yes. And so that's one option. Another way that works is you put one through, then hold it down as tight as you can and try to use that little gap to stick the other one in. Or if you can just get it enough through that you can see it on the other side, then you can grab it with a needle. I know, sweetie, I saw.
Do I tape it together?
No.
I'm gonna put this
So this one, I'm just kind of turning it as I push, and you can see just a little bit came out the other side, and that's enough that I'm going to take, I have a needle, but I also have here a pair of tweezers. Where's the tweezers, sweetie? Oh, here they are. So you can also just use a pair of tweezers and use that to pull them through. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you could use your nails, but I don't know if it's going to work with your nails. So let's just grab the other ones a little bit inside. There we go. So you just kind of pull it through enough that you're able to grab onto it. That should be enough.
I think a longer piece of tape would work better because it won't.
Yeah, that does seem to work again. You know, like the idea of a shoestring type. Now, when you put that last one on, you want to keep a gap. So you don't want it all the way down here because then you won't be able to move the beads as you're counting. So just leave a little bit of gap. It doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, you know, an inch should be fine. An inch total, half an inch, whatever. Just enough that you can move the beads over so that you can keep track of which bead that you're on. Just like that. Okay, so here's yours. Where's mine back? Okay, and when you're done with that, the last step for this one is in your bag, you will also have a small tassel. Some of them are covered in a small piece of plastic to protect the tassel. You can take that plastic off, and it has a little metal ring. And so you can put the same thing, put the metal ring on through both of them, both of the strings, and then you'll make a double knot. And that way you will have, that would be the finishing of your first tasbih or misbaha. And it's perfectly fine to call it a tasbih. Some people are very particular and they get upset if you call it that because that's not what it technically is, but that's okay. You can call it whatever you want. It's yours. So you just, because you're going to leave a little bit of gap. So this is what it's going to look like in the end. Did you get yours done? Okay, let me make that knot really nice and tight so the beads don't fall off. And I'm going to do a double knot, and there we go. I am done with my tasbih. You can chop off these extra pieces of leather if you'd like. That's totally up to you. Now you can use, we're going to make a second one, which is with the smaller beads that we have and a different kind of string. Now, if you want to do this later, there's a couple things that you can do. One, you'll notice these are just little wooden beads. So you're free to go back with paint and paint individual beads. A Sharpie would work really well. Like let's say you just wanted to decorate the big bowls or just decorate the edges of this beautiful bead at the top. Then that'd be very easy to do and you can make it really, really nice. A Sharpie would work really well. A paint would work fine. Just when you're painting, just try not to get paint all over because it will make it a little harder to move. But again, it's fine. It's no big deal. There also, if you really enjoy this project, you can always buy more beads. Like these are some glass beads I'd used at some point. And unfortunately, that one was used with I'd used this fishing line and it broke. So I now have to put this one all back together. But you see there's a bag of beads. And then this is one that Anissa made, and I can't remember where, but this was, I think you did this in Sunday school last year. Okay. And so this is, just, so she did the 11 in one color and 11 in another color, and the same thing. So who is completed their first tasbih? Can I see them? Hold them up if you're done with the first one. There you go. Good job. That looks good, Ryan. Nadia, I like it. That looks really good. Are you able to move your beads a little bit? Oh, that looks good, Nora. I like that it's pink. You're able to move this? Okay, you finished yours too. And you chose purple for this one? I thought you had a blue one.
No, this is
Okay,
the blue
so
one's for
she
the
didn't know
other
how to do the double knot. Just go make one knot
one. The blue one's
around
for
it.
the small one.
Okay.
I'm
What's
having
this
trouble
one?
getting it through the diamond. This big one.
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
know.
little bit challenging. So the one other way you can do it is just push it through one of them, like put one of the strings through, and then pull it down really tight, and then try to stick it through the other one. If you absolutely cannot get it through both, it's perfectly fine to make the knot around. Watch this, where you just make it around that first one, so that just becomes with a knot around it. That would be perfectly fine too. I mean, the whole point is just to keep your tasbih from falling apart. So, you know, don't need to, if it's really difficult, you can always do that. Just put one through, bring it around and knot both of them together. This is yours, sweetie, and it is now done. So we're going to do the second one and basically the same way, except that instead of the leather, we now have a piece of some sort of twine. So, and the balls you should have in the second one, the same number, like 33 of the small and at least two of the medium and at least one of the large. They're pretty similar in size, so you might also have 3 large, you might have 3 of the medium. That's fine.
Be careful, Sophia.
So for the second one, we're going to do basically the same thing. We'll start by take out the second one.
Sophia, leave it on the table.
So there's this twine can kind of start coming apart, and so therefore just do the same thing with a small piece of tape to kind of keep that from unraveling.
What is this? You two pink?
Yeah, it's more amount of, it's okay to have it long, you just don't need to have a lot of it going around, so that's fine.
And these beads are too. Oh, these beads are the big beads. Those are big beads.
Yeah, so there should be 33 small.
Look, I baked.
And then my set has 2 of the medium and 1 large. So they're pretty close in size. So they're, you know, the small and the medium are pretty, the medium and the large are about the same size, just a little bit larger. And then the small ones look like this. So in the end, there's not a huge amount of difference. And so this is one where it might be helpful to go ahead and color some designs on the big ones so that you can keep track of the difference between them. But this is another one. This is just a nice little one that you can just keep with you, before you start prayer, and then you'll have it right there with you.
That way we know what's going on in the next one.
You could keep one in your room, and you could keep one where you pray if those are distinct areas in your house, and then you will always have one with you. So after every salah, if you can do 1 tasbih, that would be really good. Allah will be very happy with you. And just make that a practice that will continue with you for all of your life. Okay, sweetie, do you need me to wrap yours in leather and tape? Here, you can have that one. Okay, do the same thing. String on string 11, then 1 medium one, and then 11 and 1 medium, and then 11. Okay, can you do that?
What?
Here you go. Take this string.
They came off the opposite side.
Yeah, and these are more likely to fall off the other end, so keep that. If you have trouble, you can actually tape one side to the table so that it doesn't fall off.
It's easier to do what?
But they start unraveling. Put on 11 of the little beads. Find your medium-sized beads first. So here's your mediums, and yeah, those are your mediums. And it looks like you don't have a large. I'll give you. Oh, here's one. Yeah, so these are the 3 that you're going to use to separate. Now do 11 of the little beads.
But why do we need 3 beads?
Because you're the same way you did the other one. So I'm going to do this one.
Oh, so this is where it stops too.
Yes. So this one you might find easier because the string is really small, and so they go on really quickly. And Anissa's already discovered that they fell off the other end, so be watchful of that.
No.
Wow, they're so tiny.
Okay, this
Wait,
one is easier than the other. This one's really easy. See?
these are large ones.
Yeah, don't use your large ones. You want to just use the little ones. That's why I put them separate. Okay?
That's enough.
I know. So you don't want to use that one. Here. So let's keep these aside and just use your little ones that are in your bowl and do 11 of those.
Let's see if this is the right
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I already have 11 of my little baby ones. And then I'm going to put one medium one on next.
A small one.
And then I'll do another 11. And I know I'm going quickly, so we can always go back and review.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if this is the same. Nope.
And some of them will have a little, like, be a little hard to pull through, just like the other ones. Your scissors probably won't fit in this hole, so something sharp will work better here, like a needle. If you have one, a pin, a hijab pin, whatever you have around. This one really just doesn't want to go through, so I might have to pull it through. Yeah, I've got my one stubborn bead. Adam, come on, come finish. Oh, it fell down?
Let's see. It's so hard to figure out which ones are beaten.
Okay, I helped you. I put all your big ones aside.
No, these aren't big.
Yes, they are. Look how tiny these things are. See, these are all big ones. So you don't use those. Just use those for now. The little tiny ones. The big ones here are what were the main ones probably in your last tasbih. So that's why they probably don't look big to you, because you just used them. This one absolutely does not want to go through. Okay, let's try the tweezers instead. All right, come on. Wow, this one's like stuck in here.
Huh?
What?
These are
Oh, that was a big one.
I have so many big ones.
Yeah.
Too many.
Sorry. Let's also keep in mind we owe a huge thanks to Muslim Space. This has been a really fun month of projects. They really adapted very quickly to get these done, especially in these times. I know my kids have really looked forward to all these projects each month or each week. So thank you so much, Muslim Space. You guys have done an awesome job of accommodating this strange time that we are in. This one does not want to come through.
6, 8.
Every time I think it's almost through.
I need 5 more. I need 6 and 5 makes 11.
Correct. That's some good math. I'm about to give up on this one. I give up on this one. That one's just not working.
I'm on my third part.
4. Okay.
Scissors won't fit. Probably won't fit in there. Mommy can use a needle. Oh, what the? I'll use the needle.
You can. But don't poke yourself.
Can you pick it up?
Yeah. There's 5, 6. So again, you're going to do 11 or 10, up to you. Then a medium-sized ball, then another 10 or 11, and then another medium-sized ball. And then finally, when we get to the end, we'll do that one bigger one at the end, putting it through both sides. Where'd you put my needle?
It's in here.
Can I have it, please?
He stole the other one.
Yes. It's possible that maybe my tape is too big because some of them are hard to push through.
I need to see if this is one.
Okay, let me help you with yours. Yes, I can see exactly what the problem is. The hole is quite small. So I'm just going to use this needle to kind of clean it up.
And I'll use this needle to clean this one up.
Not all of them are going to get cleaned up.
I'm cleaning up everyone.
Okay, see if this one works now. Because I made that hole much bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Oop.
8, 9,
Small. Ooh, I see one that needs to be.
11.
How do you get out this piece? How do you make the pieces come
Okay,
out?
that's a big one. You know that's a big one?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you take it out? Is I just kind of stab at it. So there's a little piece, can you see that? A little bit stuck in there. And so what I will do is just pick at it with this needle. And that should, sometimes a little bit of sawdust comes out and I can tell if that little piece is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then a medium one.
Okay, these two.
And then another 11.
I can't really tell, but these two are bigger. Oh well.
Yeah, so that's why maybe we'll go back and color these. If you are not doing this along with us, it's also up to you if you want to color them before you put them on the string. Or you can take it apart and do it later and then put them back together if you really want it like all colored. 6.
Oh, you didn't use much of string.
Are you all done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. You want to show everybody yours? This is already finished. So the medium ones are not a lot bigger, but if she colors them, I bet you'll be able to tell the difference.
How many medium ones are there? Because they look like there's 2 big ones and 2 medium ones, and then all small.
So basically, it sounds like you just got an extra. The example one uses 2 mediums right here, and then the largest one just for the top to hold it together.
I don't know which one is the largest one.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just pick one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, I need a big bead. No.
Oh, that's a big one.
I don't think I need a big bead. Not yet. Oh, that's a big one. I need one. Let me count this again.
You know everybody can hear you, right?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me make sure I counted that correctly.
8,
4,
9,
8, 9, 10, 11, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11,
9,
4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, okay. So mine's pretty much the same, where the large beads are just a little bit larger. So I'm going to go back and color those so that they're easier to pick out.
1, 2, 3.
And then I'm going to use one larger one
5,
at the
6,
top. I even use my big one. I happen to have one very large one, so I think I'm going to use that at the top. It's probably one of the ones from the other set. This one I found easier to string the second one through. Again, make sure you leave just enough space so that you can move your beads around. About an inch is enough. If you want more, that's perfectly fine. If you want less, that's perfectly fine. And then put the tassel. This one, I have a cute little orange tassel. And I'm going to stick that one on top.
Did you put on your big bead?
I did. The big bead is the easiest one to put on in this case.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9.
What, that would tip? You can't get the big bead on? You've got all the little ones and you're having problems with the big one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of this string.
I actually am going to leave a lot of space in this one because I like it like that. Totally up to you. Not a big deal either way. And then we're going to do a double knot around the tassel once you get that in to keep the whole thing together.
Okay, now we're good.
Okay, now who remembers what you're going to use the tasbih for tonight? What are you going to say? 11 times each of Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, and Allahu Akbar. Just make it a practice to do that after every salah, and it will just be a good practice for the rest of your life. And it won't take much time at all. And it'll just be something that will become part of your ibadah. All right, and there you go. I got this one done. So the first, oh, Adam, I dropped your beads.
Okay, I need to show you.
Okay.
Mine keeps sliding. It keeps sliding.
What keeps sliding?
The big bead.
Oh, that's fine. It's once you get the next one on, the tassel is what's going to keep it together. Here, go ahead and put the tassel on. So,
Look, I got it out.
it slides a little bit, and that's okay. It actually makes it easier to use because it's free to slide around. So you can cut these excess, the excess off. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a Sharpie because I happen to have one nearby. And that way we can each
Chew.
So these are just little wooden beads. They should take the marker very well. You can do a pattern if you want. I'm just going to make a solid color.
I've got 2. Now I'm trying to do.
I think a regular marker would work fine too. I happen to have a Sharpie next to me.
One, 2.
So see, that way my larger bead stands out just a little bit more, and it's a really beautiful little green color. I like it so much I want to color the other one green too. Some of them have a little bit of like a waxy look on them, so they might not take the Sharpie as well. That's the case here. One of them did not have that, and one of them did.
I'm only
but
getting
that's okay.
6. I got 8. I've got 8 beads. I got 6 beads in my hand, and I'm gonna get 8 beads because I already put on 2.
Okay.
How do you tie the ones?
Oh, I know.
So just a double knot around the after the tassel. It's just basic, you know, go around and stick it through
Is that good?
twice.
3. Where they're not too high.
No, they're not supposed to be under.
2.
So this
and 1.
is fine. She did this too, except that it's probably going to fall off this way. So I'm going to make a slight modification, and this knot is going to go around
1, 2.
that silver thing, the gold, in this case, gold part of the tassel. That will keep it in place. You also can make your own tassels. They're really easy. If you just took some string, I have one right here that I was quickly made with yarn. Easiest way to do it is to take some yarn, start wrapping it around your finger like this. let's say you wanted a different tassel or your tassel falls off and you want to make a new one. And then you wrap the keep track of where your top is. Like I'll put a little bit of leather in here.
Got 8, 9, 10. Oh,
And then wrap the yarn around. You can go ahead and take it off at this point if you want. Wrap the yarn around the thing. Go ahead and snip that. Why did I hold the scissors upside down? I don't know. And then to finish off the tassel, you would just, where's the other one? Just cut these little loops you had. Just cut them right in half.
what loops? Oh, you're making that thing?
And I have a cute little colorful tassel, and it takes about a minute to make them. So again, just wrap it around your hand or around something, loops of it, put something in so that you don't lose the top, and then wrap it around. Now you would just take the end that's loose and you can tie it onto one of these that's at the bottom and make a little double knot, and your tassel should stay together.
3.
So that's the easiest way to make a little tassel.
3, 6.
So here's again, this was one that was not shiny, and so it took the color a little bit differently. This one, it has a little bit of shine to it, so it's still coloring. It's just coloring it a little bit lighter, so I might do 2 coats on that. But that way I can easily see which is the end of my 11. So I'll say Subhanallah 11 times, then I'll skip it, and I'll do Alhamdulillah 11 times, and then Allahu Akbar 11 times. So you do this 3 times, and you'll get to 99. And that will just be a great thing for you to do tonight on the 25th night.
How you tie the top bead, like the fat bead?
So put is that the fattest one?
This is the fat one.
Okay, so put the other side of the string through there too.
Oh,
Put both strings through that. Why'd you steal my tasbih? Oh, okay. What? Oh, that one has no hole. That's so funny. You gonna do it? I mean, they make hundreds of these beads at the same time, so it's possible that some of them don't have a hole.
You're coloring yours?
I'm coloring mine green.
Oh, I should color my big ones green.
You want them green or you want them blue? Because your tassel is blue. So see, there's my pretty tasbih. Can you see that?
I want the ghost blue.
Okay, go find it. Go see if we have different colors in the other box. Oh, you brought both of them? Okay. That blue would be nice, Adam. It'll match your, oh, you want blue, dark blue? Here's a dark blue. Or here's a bright blue. Huh? I know.
This is mine.
That is yours. This one's mine because I made it orange and green. Not for any particular reason other than I just like the green.
Should I cut off the end?
Yeah, you can cut off the excess. Once you make sure it's nice and tight. Is it tight? Oh, did I fix yours?
Yeah.
No, I didn't fix it yet.
Oh.
Yours is going to come right off because it's not looped around the tassel. The hole on the tassel is a little bit bigger, so it will fall apart if you don't put that double knot around the tassel. And by that, what I mean is take it and tie it to the string after. So here is Anissa's. I'm going to take this double knot and tie it around the tassel. Go through once and then go through again.
Oh, should I put these beads on?
Those are mine. That is a tasbih that broke. Okay, don't color on the table. Okay? Be careful. And here you go, Nisa. See, now it won't fall off.
I feel like I finally got it through. So do I just tie a regular knot?
Yeah, do a double knot after. Put it through the tassel. See how this is? So put the tassel on next, and then put a double knot around the tassel. Yeah, that one that Yusuf has. So it looks like this at the end, and that way this can move a little bit freely. This one probably has like a 2-inch gap, and that's fine by me. What color are you gonna color yours, babe? So again, the slick ones, the color I might have to go back and do this once it dries. But if they're not like a waxy coated, they take the Sharpie really well. And that is my finished tasbih. I'm gonna cut this extra string off.
1, 2, 3.
I wouldn't cut it too close, but that should be fine. And there we go. So I'm gonna have one downstairs maybe and one upstairs. Oh, those look really good, Anna. Except you colored all your fingers too. That's what he does. I might color the big ones too, because even though they're very obvious, I just like them colored.
This is 6. Now I gotta do 5.
That's correct.
So I gotta do 2. Can you take out this?
Which one? Make the hole bigger? Yes, sure. So he actually had one where the hole is completely obscured, so I will use this needle to try to push it out. Hopefully you have enough to do this. If you don't, it's okay to do 10 in your sections, or to do one section with 10. Just remember which one it is, and then you can use it later to count to 11. 11 is the traditional number. You don't have to. This one, I can't get this out of them. I'm sorry. You have to use a different bead. Here's a different one. I'll swap. That one is very jammed in there.
But this one, you can do this one.
Okay.
This one's easy.
Okay, does it need to be opened up?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the other one was completely obscured.
This is the first time I've even used it.
Yes, it is. Hopefully it's better than the first time you used a glue gun. Here you go. That should work. And the top bead is going to be really fun to, the other one, this is going to be really fun to color, because you can do all kinds of colors on different edges and make it really beautiful. You see? And I just highlighted that one edge because it matches my tassel.
Did you do it?
I did mine. Yes, I did.
1, 2, 1.
What colors are you using?
Aha, I got a good thing to color. Color tape.
If you can send a picture of your completed tassels to Muslim Space, send it back to the address that emailed you today. Then they can put that on their website so everybody can see the beautiful work that your kids and you did today. And again, thank you so much to Muslim Space. This has been a really fun series. I appreciate these awesome kits that we were able to pick up and had everything that we needed to do some really fun projects. You guys rock.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3.
Obviously, we'd prefer to be together, but since we can't, we have to accommodate.
Let's see how many extras I have. I got 4 extras.
Cool.
You're just gonna color them in blue?
Well, I made it blue because my tassel is blue, see? But I'm going to use a different color on the other sides.
How is it so hard to open?
Because they're new.
Ew.
You guys haven't gotten a hold of these yet. What color do I want to do? I'll do yellow. I happen to have a lot of Sharpies, so this is easy to find a few colors, but paint or regular markers will be just fine too. I don't know if I like that
That was
yellow.
a close one.
Oh, what happened?
It almost fell to the ground.
Okay, so why don't you tape it to the table so it doesn't fall to the ground?
2 pieces.
There. Now you can put beads on this side. How can you count how many you have now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6.
Well, I didn't need to because I just lifted it every
8,
time.
9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3.
And you know what will work really well? It probably would look really nice. Is maybe you can go back with some glitter glue and decorate it, or add some sparkle to this top bead. That would also probably look very nice.
4, 5, 6, 8, 9.
This is really fun.
1, 2, 3.
This is a very fun bead to
4,
color.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9, you need 11. Or 10.
10, 11. To take out off this piece, what are you doing?
If you're done, show me what you made. I'd love to see them.
How do you color that one?
Because he colored it. Very nice. Are you gonna go back and color the big beads?
So I got 2 left. Hi.
Hello, that looks really nice. Are you gonna color them? The top one is really fun to color.
You have
Yeah, that's it.
Mommy, look.
Oh, that's really good.
Mommy,
Oh, that's beautiful, Nisa.
I just did a bunch of triangles.
Very nice. So I think I'm gonna keep this one in my room, right next to my bed, so I can do this right before bed. Oh yeah, look at those. You guys did an awesome job. So everybody's gonna use them today, right?
oh, I have that shirt.
Look how good they are. And now you all have different colors, so you know exactly whose is whose.
You got
Let me see. What'd you make?
Made what?
Bilal, where's the sibha?
I need a color for the bottom. So send a picture of your completed work to Muslim Space so they can feature it. And I hope you enjoyed the project today. And inshallah, there'll be more fun projects in the future. Maybe one day we can be together again.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed that. And
Thank you.
use your tasbih.
Thank you.
Tonight's the 25th night, so use them tonight. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adeela.
Okay, are you going to stop it?
I'll stop it. Yep.
Okay.
No.